Hello everyone, my name is Tony and welcome to Red Cyber Dragon. In today's video, we'll explore if ChatGPT can create a desktop calculator for us. I'll be using Python and PySide 6 as I have some familiarity with them, and this will help me give ChatGPT more specific prompts. So let's get started. One other note is that I'm using GPT-4. This is the most recent version that ChatGPT offers. In my opinion, it's better at understanding convoluted prompts, but it was much slower. So the first prompt we give ChatGPT is all code to make a calculator in PySide 6. Now, that may seem like an odd prompt, but it's actually the easiest way to get all the code in one section, in my experience. So first, ChatGPT gives us a little introduction. It says, creating a simple calculator using PySide 6 involves setting up the UI, handling button clicks, and performing calculations based on user input. Below is a step-by-step guide to create a basic calculator. Step 1. Install PySide 6. Make sure you have PySide 6 installed. If you haven't, you can install it using pip. Pip install PySide 6. Okay, so I've already done this, and it's pretty straightforward. You just use that command. All right. And step 2, create a Python file for the calculator, e.g. calculator.py. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so now we have the file, and we'll copy the code over. Real easy like that. Okay, now let's run it and see what happens. Wow, okay, so that looks like a calculator to me. Let's see if it works. 8 plus 8 equals 16. All right, looking good so far. So that's pretty cool, but the calculator looks kind of ugly. So I'm going to give ChatGPT another prompt, and this one's going to just be, can you make the layout look better? Let's see what happens. All right, let's see what ChatGPT gave us. So in this updated version, the layout has been adjusted for better appearance. The spacing between the buttons has been set to 5 pixels using the button layout.setSpacing5. The queue size policy of the buttons has been set to expanding for both horizontal and vertical directions, allowing the buttons to take up available space. The height of the result display has been set to a fixed 50 pixels using self.result.display set fixed height 50. These changes should make the calculator layout look better and more visually appealing. Well, let's find out. Copy the code and run it. And let's see if it looks better. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Oh yeah, look at that. The buttons are responsive. And the answer area is a fixed size, or at least a fixed height. That looks excellent. Okay, so far so good. We have a calculator that is responsive, looks pretty good, and does all the basic operations. Why don't we add some more advanced operations like exponents and square roots? We'll ask ChatGPT, and we'll try something new this time. I want it to only give me the code that I need to add rather than giving us the whole file again. We'll see how this goes. So the prompt is, let's add some more operations like square root and exponents. Show only the new code I need to add. So unfortunately, I'm getting an error when I use the square root button. I think this may have to do with the fact that I didn't import the math module. Because I only asked it for the second half of the code, when I looked at the window there, you see it says import math up at the top there. I must have missed that because it gave me an error, but then once I added it, it worked. So, but I did end up asking it for the entire file again, just because I was confused and frustrated. So it seems that ChatGPT doesn't save you from all of your frustration. Or at least it can't save you from yourself forgetting to add a library anyways. So I changed the prompt to let's add some more operations like the square root and exponents. I also removed the part of the prompt that asked it to only give me the new code, so it gave me the entire file. So now we are going to add some C and CE buttons so that we can clear the input of the calculator like on most calculators. So this time the prompt is add C and CE buttons, mark new code with a comment that says new. Now notice I don't even have to tell it what the buttons actually do. It knows because it's a large language model. So it printed out all the code. This time I had it mark the new sections as new. And I don't think it actually didn't finish, but here let's go through its instructions. And here you'll actually see an example of something I ran into a lot. A lot of times ChatGPT would time out and not be able to finish, so I would just type finish and it would seem to work. So let's go through the instructions here. In this updated version, I added 2 new buttons for the C and CE functionalities. Wow, it referred to itself as I. Okay. Added buttons for C and CE operations to the buttons list. Updated the button clicked method to handle new operations. When the C button is clicked, the display is cleared by setting the text to an empty string. And this is the part where it continued on. When the CE button is clicked, the last character in the display is removed using slicing. Now the calculator has buttons for clearing the display, C, and removing the last character, CE. The updated code includes these features, and new code sections are marked with comments. Now, this time it actually did work out okay. I added the new code that was marked by a comment, new code, and ended by end new code. So that actually worked out pretty well. So I was surprised. Okay, so we'll add in the new code here. Copying it from ChatGPT. Alright, looks like that part's new. This is adding the buttons. Add those here. Alright, so 8, 9, clear. 6 times set 1, 2 equals 72. Okay. We have a bit of a problem here. Do you see it? I don't think it should be adding, it should be putting 2 plus signs next to each other. I think we wanted to get it to stop input if there are more like you can't add more digits to it once you've gotten an answer. I think that's probably for the best. Looks like our square root's working. Just double checking. Yeah, see, it adds an input to the end there. We don't want that. We don't want that. It will do a second calculation though, so that's cool. Okay, so let's fix that additional input problem. So we'll put in the prompt, prevent further numerical input when an answer is given, but allow an operation to be done on an answer. And that may sound like a mouthful, and it is. Let's see if ChatGPT can do it. All right, let's see what ChatGPT gave us. In the updated version, I made the following changes to implement the desired functionality. Wow, it loves referring to itself in the first person. It's unsettling. Added an answer given flag to the calculator class, which is set to true when the answer is displayed. Okay. Updated the on button clicked method to handle the new flag. All right, so it sets a flag. When the operation button is clicked, the flag is set to false to allow further input. When a digit or decimal point is clicked, the input is added to the display only if answer given is false. When the C button is clicked, the flag is set to false to allow further input. And when the CE button is clicked, the flag is set to false to allow further input if it was previously true. Now the calculator prevents further numerical input when an answer is given, but allows operations to be performed on the answer. Okay, so it seems like ChatGPT understood what I was asking for, which is impressive. It didn't get messed up on my mouthful of a prompt. Okay, so let's try this out. All right, 23 plus 6 equals 29. Okay, good. Looks like it's blocking any further input. All right, let's make sure we can do an operation. Okay, cool. So it looks like ChatGPT nailed it. So far, so good. We're looking really good on functionality, but I think we could make it look a little better. Let's go with this prompt. Can we make the buttons and font look sleeker? And we'll see what ChatGPT can come up with. All right, let's see what ChatGPT gave us. So in the updated version, I made the following changes to make the buttons and font look sleeker. Imported QFont from PySide 6. Created a button font object using the QFont class, setting the font family to Arial, size to 14, and weight to bold. Okay, so that's how we set font. Awesome. Defined a button style variable containing a style sheet string to customize the appearance of the Q push button elements. Set the font and style sheet of each button in the loop using the setFont and setStyleSheet methods. Now the calculator has sleeker buttons and font with a modern and polished appearance. And I gotta say, for me, it's hard to disagree with ChatGPT. We have these sleek looking buttons with the curved corners and the nice font on the buttons. But I'm looking at the window where the answer is, and it's kind of small, the font, and it doesn't look that good. So let's improve that next. We'll go back over to ChatGPT and we'll say, let's use a calculator font for the display. And we'll see what it gives us. Okay, so ChatGPT says, in the updated version, I made the following changes to the set calculator style font for the display. I created a display font object using the QFont class, setting the font family to digital 7 and the size to 24. Okay, good, so bigger font. Set the font for the result display QLine edit using the set font method. QLine edit is the answer box. Now the calculator's display uses digital 7 font, giving it a more authentic calculator appearance. Please make sure you have installed digital 7 font on your system before running the code. Now I gotta say, I'm not exactly sure what digital 7 is, but you know, the font does look bigger and easier to see, so I think we'll just take the win there. Last thing, I don't want there to be a 0.0 if it's an integer, so we'll say if it's a whole number, don't show the decimal point in the answer. Alright, let's see what we got here. So to display the result without a decimal point, if it's a whole number, we can modify part of the code where the result is displayed after evaluation. We'll use the int function to check if the result is an integer and display it accordingly. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so it checks if the result is an integer by checking if it's equal to result casted as an integer. So if that is true, then it will not have a decimal or a 0 after it. So that's exactly what we want. Perfect. All right, let's see. Okay, excellent. Doesn't look like there are any decimal points when it's an integer. And let's see. Okay, yeah, they're still doing decimal points when it's not an integer, which is good. All right, looks like we got a working calculator. It's great. All right, well, it looks like ChatGPT gave us a pretty good calculator app. I really think it was more of a collaboration than ChatGPT coding the app for us. And I don't think that software engineers are going anywhere anytime soon, but this is definitely a tool that I am happy to have as a software engineer. If you're interested in checking out the code, I've put it all up on GitHub along with screenshots of my conversation with ChatGPT. So check that out if you want. Thanks for joining, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.